Hey everybody, how are you doing? Dr. Carmen Bryant, Overcoming Narcissist Abuse. Thank you for joining me. Thank you guys so much for supporting me on my TikToks. You know, sometimes during the week it's a lot of energy to come in and make a video, 13, 14, 16, 26 minutes. You know, I'm long-winded, so I'll talk to you for a long time. So sometimes it's easier for me to come and do like 2, 3, 1 minute videos on TikTok and post them or put them together and then post them. So thank you guys so much for joining me. And actually that's quicker too. So sometimes, you know, those car chronicles, I can sit and talk to you guys, whatever's on my mind at that particular time. So I just wanted to come in and I wanted to answer a question. You'll see part of this on TikTok, and I was telling everyone to come from TikTok over here to see the full video. But, you know, most people ask the question, you know, how long does it take for me to heal? Well, you have to take in consideration that there are underlying issues that may play a role in your recovery. Most of you who have been in a situationship or relationship with a narcissist, that's just the tip of the iceberg. You know, just like the Titanic, when they hit the iceberg, they didn't realize how big the iceberg was up underneath the water. They only saw the tip of the iceberg. And likewise, with many of you, you know, the narcissist is just the tip of the iceberg or the cherry on top of the pie. You know, so most of you guys have been through traumatic events in your life. I remember when I was doing my dissertation and I was doing some studies, I was reading some articles, some research medical articles in reference to PTSD and trauma. And then I began to understand why we ask specific type of questions when we do intakes with clients. And a lot of those intakes, you know, if they have chronic depression or if they have bipolar disorder or schizophrenia, schizoaffective, the questions that we ask, no different than what a doctor asks, is this, like a doctor will ask, you know, does anybody in your family have high blood pressure, high cholesterol, you know, diabetes, because it's in the blood. And so they know that you are probably, what's the word I'm looking for? It probably is in your system as well, because it is in the bloodline, is in your genetics. You're predisposed to it because it was already in your family. This person had cancer. This person, and same question they asked in reference to cancer. Anybody in your family had cancer? You know, breast cancer may have run in your family, uterine cancer, whatever kind of cancer may have ran in the family, or diabetes, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, obesity, and you notice that genetically people are predisposed, and then they have some of the same ailments as their families. If you look at people that are drug and alcohol users, they come from families that were drug and alcohol users. That was a learned, you know, it's almost like a learned behavior because that was their coping skills, coping methods. If you look at people that are highly suicidal, if you look into their family tree, you'll find out other people that have been suicidal or have committed suicide. And I'm not telling you to go do that because there is help out there. Make sure you go look on my community tab. There's information there in reference who to call, the crisis numbers to call. But this is the information that we get. So imagine, you know, you're dealing with an individual like yourself who's asking the question, how long does it take for me to recover? Well, that's why I emphasize making sure you go to therapy. Coaching is excellent. Therapy deals with the mental health and the underlying issues and the roots, you know, those roots to the tree that brought you to this situation. You know, I watch a lot of, not all the time, but I watch a lot of like documentaries or things when it comes to star. I'm very interested a lot of times when stars are having, it's not a good thing, they're having mental breakdowns, they're having mental health issues, drug and alcohol issues, you know, and their lives are so public. So everything, you know, we feel entitled to know everything that goes on in their life, but these are human beings with personal lives and personal tragedies. You know, you see these major breakups, these big love and love affairs and you know, and the cheating and the scandals. And you don't know, you know, while we're watching this, you know, we don't really truly know what the person that has been violated, the person that has been hurt is going through. All we see is they're being hospitalized. They're on medication. We don't know what's going on. They're going crazy. Well, some of them are connected to narcissists, but you know, we have to understand that these people are traumatized. Why is it so bad? What have you gone through in your family that caused this to be so bad? How is it that there are some people that go through trauma and never get PTSD? How is it that some people go through trauma and get PTSD and complex PTSD? And that's what I was saying earlier when I was doing my dissertation and I was reading some of the medical reports and some of the research that was being done is you know, for those people that have PTSD, a lot of times you'll find anxiety and depression and PTSD within that family because they didn't have good coping skills, and it seemed to be passed on. So they develop poor coping skills, but at the same time, those people that never develop PTSD and then taught their children or their families on how to, master their emotions or how to overcome or become resilient to things that have good support systems, good people to talk to, So it also depends on the type of family that you come out of. And this is the example that I can give you because there is no definitive answer. Yes, as therapists, we know that insurance companies will only pay for so many sessions, 8 to 12 sessions. We give you tools, we'll give you coping mechanisms. It's up to you to apply them and discover them. Psychotherapists, therapists that are trauma professionals that are willing to go into the past to see what the foundation is. What is the foundation that caused you to get to this point? But a lot of things have to be done very quickly. It's not long term. So it has to be done very quickly. And there are some that are trauma professionals that are skilled at that. There are some therapists that do not believe in going into your past. We leave the past in the past. We're going to focus on the future. The brief solution focused therapy. A lot of them don't believe in digging into your past. For me, I believe, let me dig into your past. How am I supposed to help you unless I know something about your past and why you are responding to treatment or to life situations the way that you are? When I can put the puzzle pieces together and present it to you, it gives you a different perspective. And a lot of times when people get a different perspective about something, it helps them in their change. It helps them to strengthen themselves. It helps them to feel good about themselves. They start to notice the little changes in their life. And this is the big example that I give to a lot of people. You have people that have been hit by trucks, major car accidents. A lot of them have walked away with scrapes and just bruises, and that's a blessing, but some people have had some serious injury, brain injury, bodily injury, internal damage, and they usually fly them to a trauma triage or trauma clinic or whatever it is in the hospital that is focused on triage. They are trying to piece you together to help you to survive. Blood, making sure that the major organs are closed up. Let's stitch this up. Let's stop the bleeding. It's in the military we used to call it the ABCs of first aid. Airways, is airways, stop the blood, and circulation. I think it's airway. Open the airways. Make sure the blood is make sure the bleeding stops, and make sure that there is circulation. Make sure that there's circulation. And so I don't know what it is in the medical field, but they're making sure that they get you stabilized, that you're breathing, your bleeding has stopped, and that you are stable. Your vitals are stable. You bring your blood pressure down because people are afraid, they're traumatized, and then when they get you stable enough, they bring in all these specialists, neurologists, a brain specialist, a trauma professional, I don't know all the, those of you that are in the medical field know all these specialists that come in to do these evaluations. We need to look at the brain, see if there's any brain damage. How is this going to affect them? Is it going to affect their speech, their fine motor skills? The neurologist, is there any nerve damage? Let's look at the bones. We need to do an x-ray. And we need to do an x-ray to make sure that that they're, where the bone's broken. Let's look at the internal organs, everything that we need to do to make sure, is there something we need to remove? Is there something we need to put in there? Do we need to stitch something up? Do we need to, to stabilize the bones? What do we need to do? So you have all these people that are helping to stabilize you. You're in a cast. You're on life support. You are in, you are in the ICU. You are in, serious condition, critical condition. And then as you progress, and you may be in the hospital for months and months and months and months, then they get someone in there, a speech therapist, to help you start talking again, or a psychiatrist to find out your cognitive skills, the neurologist and those to see what your fine motor skills are. And then they put together a plan, and everybody's working together as a team. So it may be months, and there are people that have survived these tragedies, but they'll tell you how long it took them, many, many years for them to get in. When you look at them, they have physical scars, but they're functioning. That one of their legs may be shorter than the other, so they compensate. They may have a lift in their shoe. They may have rods in their back or their legs. They may have a plate in their head. They may have, their thought process has slowed down. Their speech may have slowed down. They may, and then on top of that, the psychological damage that goes along with that. Now they need mental health therapy at the same time. So you have speech therapists, you have physical therapists helping them with fine motor skills, simple tasks that they learned as children, to close a button, to hold a spoon, to move their finger, little exercises like moving their finger. This right here we take for granted when someone has been injured. They can't do this, or to hold a spoon, or to hold, let me look around, to hold an ink pen. Can't find the ink pen. There we go. Something as simple as holding an ink pen. They can't even do that. Things like putting a spoon up to their mouth. So if that's the case when it comes to a physical injury, then why do you think it's going to be just briefly, quickly, that you're going to recover from this type of trauma? You look at your family and your history. What kind of family did you come out of that you thought was normal? Now that that narcissist may have been the tip of the iceberg. But then when you look back at your own family, did you have narcissists in your family? Did you have, some of them may not have been narcissists. You may have had just some toxic, abusive individual, drug addicted individual. You may have went from foster care to foster care. You never were adopted. So now you're dealing with, abandonment issue, the orphan issue. You're dealing with rejection. Your parents were not nurturing. So you feel abandoned. You feel, and you jumped into these relationships because you were looking for something that cannot be accomplished by a person. Will Smith says something that was very profound, and he said, he was talking about his wife, and he says, she's got to be happy, and I've got to be happy. I'm not responsible for her happiness. She's got to be happy. And then two people come together and bring their happiness together. That was very, very profound, because no one can make you happy. You have to be happy yourself. You have to be at peace yourself. And so when you come out of these situations, don't give yourself a timeline to heal, because it may take years for you to get back to a place, but you'll never, when I say you'll never be the same, that doesn't mean that you're always going to be dysfunctional. It just means that you'll never be the same. A person that's been in a car accident will never be the same. They got a plate in their head. So when they go through the airport, they have to let them know I have a plate in my head, or I have screws or rods in my ankles. I have a rod in my back. So I'm letting you know ahead of time that it's going to show up, or I can't walk through here, or like magnetic place, I can't walk through here. When it gets cold, those rods in their body get cold. So they get colder quicker than other people. So there are certain temperatures they cannot handle. So you don't rush the process. Don't concern yourself with how long it took for one person to heal. No one really knows all the trauma and the things that you have been through yourself. No one knows how much you've struggled. No one knows. And then here comes that narcissist. And that narcissist may cause you to have a psychotic episode, may cause you to have a blowout where you may be in inpatient treatment. This is the person that you thought that you loved, and you come to find out that this person is not even real. This is a whole facade. You've had a family. You've been with them for 20, 30 years. You have a family. You have a home. You have a life. You have a reputation. People know you. People think you guys are just a cool couple. Oh my gosh, couple goals, and no one knows the hell that you're going through at home. They don't know what you're going through and what you're suffering. And then on top of that, to compile that, it's almost like a confirmation that nobody is good. My parents were horrible. I'm a bad person. I can never get it right. You put the blame on yourself. Stop giving yourself a time limit. Take your time in your healing process and stop jumping from relationship to relationship. There is no such thing that, in order to get over one person and you get involved with another person. No, because you're taking your baggage and you're taking that baggage to relationship, and they're filling that baggage up and giving you more baggage. And then you're coming out wondering why you are having more problems that you had before, because you never took the time to heal. You don't have to be with someone. And I tell my daughters that. For those of you, excuse me, for those of you, each one of you have your preferences, because we do have the LGBTQ plus community. But what I'm saying is that, like I teach my daughters, and this is not to be offensive, please forgive me. I'm speaking from a heterosexual perspective, but I do, I understand that we have our brothers and sisters in the LGBTQ plus community that have, same-sex relationships, transgender community. So please, I'm not being offensive. I'm just referring to it in the way that I understand it. But just like I tell my daughters, a man is not a need, a man is a desire. You can do it for yourself. We're not going to be man haters, because every man is not bad. Every man is not dysfunctional. There are men just like us women that are out there, and women just like men that are out there, waiting and getting themselves together because they have a lot to offer and they want to be in a loving relationship. And so just like I tell my daughters, we're not going to hate men, but as a woman, you are able to build an empire. You're able to build and travel and be happy and buy your homes and buy cars. You don't have to have a man to do that. A man is a desire. A man is not a need. And ladies, gentlemen, the same thing. A woman is a desire. A woman is not a need, and so you desire to be in a healthy, loving relationship where both of you guys support each other and love each other and build together. But it's not a need. You need to eat. You need to sleep. You need to breathe air. So it's not a need, it's a desire. And once you understand that, you take the time to enjoy yourself, be by yourself, love yourself, date yourself, get you a crew, get you a tribe. That I have an awesome tribe, and we're not always up under each other. We don't always see each other. And when we do see each other, it is a blessing because we enjoy each other's company. During the holidays, when there's no other family around, we come together and we're a family, but we're not always stuck under each other. We talk to each other, we see each other. These are all professional women in my tribe, professional women that got things going on for themselves, women that are on the go, shakers and movers. And that's awesome because you don't have someone that's constantly right here in your face, and we enjoy each other's company. And that's what you have to do. And I don't have any friends. You know what? I enjoy being by myself too. It's the people that I'm around at a concert. You have to find a group to join, whether it's a church group, whether it's a gym group. The more you go, the more you get to know people. Sometimes it's the front staff, that you think is cool and they enjoy you. And eventually, like, you want to go out to eat or something like that. You want to go get some drinks or something like that. What are you doing after work? So that's how you get to know people. But don't push yourself on people. But it takes time to recover. Stop pushing yourself so fast, thinking that this is abnormal and this should be happening really fast. Some people want to know, how fast is it going to take for me to recover because I need to get back into another relationship? How quick will it be? How long should I expect so I can get back in another relationship? Well, you're already looking at it wrong. So you are already looking at the situation wrong. So as long as you're looking at the situation like that, your recovery is going to take some time because you're probably going to run right back into a wall that you just peeled yourself off of. And so hopefully this has helped you. And as I always emphasize, I emphasize therapy. Find yourself a trauma professional. I just found out from a beautiful lady in Bulgaria that that she actually got counseling through BetterHelp.com. I was so pleasantly surprised. I did not know. So even BetterHelp reaches out all the way to Bulgaria, over in other countries. I know it's in Canada. I know it's in the United States, but she said in Bulgaria, and she was able to get counseling in Bulgaria. And so you guys reach out and get a 10% discount by using my link, which you'll find underneath the video. It is betterhelp.com/ it might be backwards on the camera, / Dr. Carmen. They will give you a 10% discount. And yes, it is a sponsored link. They will give you a 10% discount. And if you're having financial issues, let them know and they will work with you. But you will find some awesome, I think it was Miss Ingrid. Her name was Ingrid Johnson. If I'm right, I'm not sure, in Canada, that many people are looking for. And one of the ladies here, my little angel from Canada, I think her name is Ingrid Johnson. I think that's what it was, in Canada. And she said that she was phenomenal and she understood narcissist abuse. And now therapists are getting training in this type of abuse, gaslighting, narcissism, narcissistic personality disorder, narcissist abuse. So reach out to betterhelp.com / Dr. Carmen. And then ask them, I need to find someone that specializes in trauma, someone that specializes and understands narcissist abuse, and they will help you connect. They even got articles on there that talks about it. Articles on there that talks about narcissism, narcissistic personality disorder, narcissist abuse. So you guys go check it out. And those of you that want coaching, you are welcome to contact me. If you are out of state, Dr. Carmen Bryant at Outlook.com. If you're in the state of Washington, I can provide you with therapy, but I cannot provide you with therapy outside the state state of Washington. Same email, drcarmenbryant@outlook.com, and I will find out what insurance you have and if I am in network with your insurance. If you're outside the state of Washington, go to betterhelp.com/Dr. Carmen. Get you a 10% discount. Let them know that you are seeking, and very nominal fees. These fees, like I say in every video, I'm surprised that they're staying in business because they don't charge very much. They charge less than what we as professionals in our offices charge. And when I was looking at what they charge for counseling, I'm like, how? Okay, but then again, there's a lot of counseling, a lot of people that come. So I get that. I understand it. But if I charge those fees, I wouldn't be able to keep my doors open. So it is very nominal fees. And they have some awesome therapists that are available to you. Go to therapy before you go to coaching, because coaching is going to take you from one spot to another, one place to another. There's some goals, you have some plans. Therapy is going to hit them hard spots. It's going to hit some foundations. When you build a house, you got to build a good foundation to the house, or the house is going to crumble. It's going to fall apart. And anytime a house has been damaged, or even a car, they check the frame of the car. If the frame of the car is damaged, they get rid of the car because they have to salvage the car. They have to get rid of the car because the car is not repairable. Before a human being, whenever there's a foundational problem that may have started from childhood, you have people that specialize in going in and rebuilding that foundation, stabilizing that foundation to straighten up that house. So that's what you want to do. Get therapy, y'all. Get therapy. Don't be ashamed. Don't let these people tell you, you talk my business over there in therapy. You talk about their business. That what happens in my house stays in my house. My old Southern folks, what goes on in my house stays in my house. You telling folks my business. That's the problem right there. That's probably why you are the way that you are. Take your time in healing. Take your time in healing. Don't let nobody rush you. It took me 6-7 years to get to a point that I was at when I started creating these I was about to say movies. All right, I'm gonna create some movies. But it took 6-7 years for me to finally get stable. And it was a blessing. It was a learning experience. I'm glad and I'm grateful that I went through it because I can talk to you guys about it. I'm not saying that I will go back and repeat it, but what I am saying is I took my time. I didn't jump in relationships. I didn't try to, and then relationships were looking kind of, so I take my time. I don't rush. I don't need a man. I desire one day, eventually, but I don't need one because I'm perfectly capable of doing whatever I need to do. And for me, as a believer, God is my husband. You go, oh, God is your husband. That's what I got. I got faith and I am happy and I have a beautiful tribe. And, and it took time to get there. It took time to get there. And just like with me, like many of you guys, when he does come, I want to make sure to present the best me that I can. I'm happy-go-lucky. He's got to be happy-go-lucky. And there's some things that I desire and I require. And if he does not meet those standards, he's not getting in. He's not going to get in. And some of you ladies need to think the same way. Some of you men need to think the same way. There's nothing wrong with you having standards. When I say a list, I don't mean he's got to have a 6-pack and a full head of hair and you 60 years old and you don't have a full head of hair. Girl, we walking around like this and you talking about a full head of hair. You need to stop. But at the same time, there are certain requirements that you should have, certain standards that you should have pertaining to, and stop telling everybody those things. When they come, you'll recognize them. Don't tell everybody your business because then you have them old roaches coming out there in your DMs. I'm that person that you described. That was cute. But anyway, you guys have a wonderful day. Thank you guys for tuning in and go be great.